Okay, well, the main advantage about PPC is that you're talking long term. Everyone wants results right now. And in 12 months' time, they always think that, well, if I had adhered, if I did do a bit of SEO, I would be getting a lot more traffic through SEO as well as PPC. So 12 months just goes by just like that sort of thing. Yeah. But people don't realise that because I think that only going to concentrate on PPC because they want results now. But without does that, when the 6 months time, 8 months time, or whatever, I'm going to start trickling traffic, which I'm not paying for. Yeah. And every time somebody clicks on that traffic, it's going to be free, except for the work that I put into it or the work that your agencies put into it. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. SEO is a longer term approach, and it will also pick up a lot more keywords that you haven't even defined, because that's the way organic rankings work. So you start getting a lot of traffic through keywords that you don't even know that or didn't actually optimize any page for. So hence the reason that it is important to have a combination of both a short-term strategy, PPC, and a long-term strategy, SEO. One of the benefits for SEO is that there's no real hardcore selling in it, whereas PPC is sort of getting a little bit of a reputation of hardcore selling. So you can customize the message that gets on your Google page here. You can really you've got full control of what goes here, what goes here, what goes here, and so on. Whereas in SEO you really haven't. It's Google that determines what gets displayed on the Google page, so you can't do any sort of hard sales. So that's why people, there are some people who prefer just SEO, some people who prefer just PPC for those types of reasons. Not real right now.
Yes, sir. If you look your question,
sorry?
If you look on our question and you are putting on with Google, if you go for somebody organic or paid.
I'm slightly different. Because I understand how all these things work, I sort of read between the lines, and I'm fully aware that on PPC you can do an element of hard sales. So, like for example, I've got one dentist who I just took on, and he's doing this treatment called Invisalign, and he said that I'm going to price it at $79.99, and he knows that no one can get any lower than $79.99, but his competitors are doing it at £25 per month as opposed to £79. So he contacted his competitors anonymously, and they're saying, yeah, it is £25, but you've got to come in for a free consultation first, and that consultation will decide whether you get £25 or whether it's going to £75. So you can actually abuse the system. Hence the reason some people think that I'm going to go for organic. Some people aren't even aware the difference between when they're clicking on a search engine, they're not even aware of the difference between what that is, and what that is. They'll simply just screen down it, whatever seems relevant to them, they'll click on it. Yeah. Hence the reason, again, when doing online marketing, it's important to have a strategic approach and think about the whole thing, and not just like what you like or where you would click. So,
I think one of the other things that what you just saying there, I have two brokers and I have looked at on all my people, so it kind of takes away all these places that have work. So really good things on marketing are that's the other way.
exactly, yeah.
And you move them away and don't them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, if you just use one strategy, it is very dangerous because you're just locking yourself into that strategy and you're not giving yourself a chance to appear anywhere else at any other time.
Okay.
Hello.
Where's the preference? If you've got a Google My Business listing and you've got the site well SEO'd, how does Google determine where you appear?
Okay. Sorry. Are you saying that if your site's in here?
Yeah.
And if your site's in here?
Well, theoretically yes, but presumably it's not going to list both, is it?
It can do.
Okay.
It can do because this section is totally independent to this section, and is totally independent to this section. Right? So you know, in one scenario, you could even have you listing it here, and here.
Right.
Yeah. It's really down to effort that you put in, as well as various other factors like the domain authority and so on. Yeah. But there are, even though it is one page, yeah, there's very different businesses behind it that look at that section, and that section.
Can I start another question? I've got 4 websites and all of them have a clue in the name.
Sorry, all of them, what, sorry?
All of them have a clue in the name.
A clue in the name?
Yeah, Lichfield carpet cleaning, Sutton Coldfield carpet cleaning, Birmingham hardcore restoration, Birmingham. Is Google going to, and I'm not linking them all to Google places, but to my mind, there's a clue in the title, or am I going to get penalised?
Okay,
that?
from
Or just hot air?
okay, from a user perspective, right? If I'm say googling, and I see some common domains, I might sort of associate, use a process of association, think that it's the same company, so therefore I'm going to ignore that company. Yeah. As far as Google's concerned, when you're doing SEO, what Google will look for is that, are you building satellite websites or satellite pages? And if you are, yeah, then you're at high risk of getting into some sort of trouble with Google. If every single website is treated as a separate business within itself, it's built differently. I mean, if you want to get really detailed, it's hosted on different servers, different IP addresses, unique content, yeah, so everything about the sites are different, and you do everything above board, then you've got nothing to worry about. If you're, however, taking one website, because an old practice used to be that people used to buy all these domain names and set loads and loads of different websites, and they used to do something called content spinning, which means that I'll write the content once, I'll put in some clever software, and what the software does, it rewrites the content for me, right, itself, within like 2 seconds, and I'll simply put it on the other website. Those practices are still being used, and those people who are using those practices are at risk of being penalised, especially if you've got, say, other factors might be like you've got links between the actual websites, yeah, and Google will pick up on all these things. So be careful how you use that strategy. It is a very dangerous strategy unless it's implemented properly and ethically, and you're not simply taking a site and copying over to multiple domains and multiple pages. Does that answer your question?
An SEO answer guy question really. They're all separate. I mean, Google's just a search engine, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
It's only a computer, and everybody gives it this sort of like feeling that it exists and everything else. You know, if you type in, I don't know, what's your other one? Say some Swansea carpet cleaners, and it's in the name. What difference is it? I'm sorry,
Google.
awful,
No, it's
most
all
of
right.
us have these.
It's all right,
It's all
yeah.
standalone. It's not linked. It's not. It might not be on a separate server.
That's what I'm saying. So as long as you're doing everything ethically, yeah, so you're not doing any linking, you're not doing any content sharing, you're not doing any content spinning, then you've got nothing to worry about being listed in the organic section. If you're trying to fool Google, yeah, by building these sites and building every single site with a similar sort of content, similar contact details and everything else, then you're at risk of being penalised. Because if Google associates the fact that you're having multiple websites to get some sort of a monopoly, then you're at risk. But if you're doing everything ethically, you've nothing to worry about. So.
The algorithm that affecting people as well.
Sorry?
The algorithm itself, it's not optimised for your device and you're getting it down.
I will trace on mobile devices, but what's happened recently, on the 21st of April, a new algorithm was released by Google to say all websites have to be mobile friendly. If they are mobile friendly, I will give you a preference over those that are not mobile friendly. So it's not necessarily going to penalise you, but it's not going to give you any preference either. So all that will happen is that if you want a cutting edge over your competitors, make sure you've got a mobile site, because not everybody's also going to run out and get a mobile website because they'll think it's for somebody else or it's not going to affect me or whatever. But having said that, you don't need to panic about it either. It's not like Google released the algorithm on April the 21st and on April the 22nd everyone's going to get penalised. It's got a billion websites to get through, and it has given a lot of warning. So you have got a bit of time, but get onto it as quickly as possible. Yeah. But there are lots of algorithm changes. Like, for example, recently it released one to say every single website has to be on a secured server. It doesn't have to be, but instead of HTTP, it has to be HTTPS. And it's going to give those websites a preference over those that are not on HTTP. Yes.
When did that come in, AJ?
That came in, it was enforced, it was a few months ago, yeah.
And how do you know, how do you know whether you're on, well, except by looking at that? I mean, how do you know who the SSL?
Okay, first thing you can do is look at the HTTP itself, and then depending on the browser that you're using, you get a small padlock, yeah. I don't know if you noticed it or not. I don't know if I can,
Just to add while AJ's looking, you all had an email off TACCA that gave the Google link for testing your website to see whether it was mobile friendly. So if you want to go back through your TACCA emails, there is a link on there to check. Or the easiest way is to go on your mobile phone and search your website. If you have to zoom in on your website, it's not mobile friendly. Easy to say straight away. It will automatically adjust that writing, so it will automatically adjust if it's mobile friendly.
That's
It'll be easy to read straight away.
Yeah.
If it's not easy to read, you have to zoom in. It's not mobile friendly quickly.
I had a website built about a year ago. Nobody ever mentioned the word responsive.
I know.
Should they?
Well, it's not that nobody
Because it's
mentioned
out
it.
there.
It's not that nobody mentioned it, right? It's just probably that you probably didn't get to read it. And the reason is that when algorithms take place, there is a bit of time before Google starts talking about it in various specialized forums. There's always hints that this sort of thing is coming up. It's sort of pending, yeah. And then all of a sudden, bang, Google will announce it. And as soon as it does, it will normally give you a bit of time to say, you know, we're not going to expect it to be straight away. If you look over here, like I'm looking at this side, I can't see from the browser. Where the top URL was, you've got a small padlock, but I want me to show it you now. Sorry.
If you
but
put the projector, it probably will
whoa. See at the top left-hand corner, you've got a small icon. There's a padlock. That's what indicates a secure website. Or some browsers have it in the bottom corner. And so on. I'll try not to get out of it next time. Okay. Now, for SEO, there's to get your website listed in the organic section. There's two primary considerations. There's the changes that you make to your website itself, so that you're almost fine-tuning the website, so that when Google comes along, it can understand everything about your website instantly. And then, apart from the stuff that you can do on your website, there's the off-page factors. In other words, the people outside communities that are talking about your website, and there's so many the blogs and forums and everything else. Now, what's really important to understand is that over 60% of the influence of your website ranking comes from off-page optimization rather than on-page optimization. So what you can technically do, you can go away and hire an SEO guy or whatever, an expert, to fine-tune your website, and he'll come along and he put all the meta tags in and everything else, yeah? That's all great, but the thing is that Google knows about this. Google knows that anyone can optimize your website. But what's much more difficult to do is get people to be talking about your website, yeah, from external factors, external websites. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to talk a bit about on-page optimization, what that generally involves, and then I'm going to talk a bit about off-page optimization. Yeah. So the first thing I recommend to everyone is get yourself a Google Mail email account. And the reason is that primarily we're all targeting Google, right? Regardless of Bing and everything else, the primary station is Google. So if you're using Google, use one of Google's email accounts, so that everything you do thereafter will be a lot more compatible, it'll be a lot more easier to do, whether you do Google AdWords, you do Google Maps. Anything that you do, you want to use any of Google's tools, you'll be able to do it a lot more easier rather than using a non-Google email account. So get yourself signed up onto a Gmail account. Yeah. Step 2 do your keyword research before you do any form of optimization. What I mean by keyword research is that you might be a carpet company within, say, Birmingham, yeah? So, and you know that there's going to be a lot of people trying to compete against carpet cleaning in Birmingham, yeah? So you're trying to get a bit of a niche, and you see, well, how can I find out what other people are actually typing in, yeah? And the way you do that, one of the ways you do that, sorry, is you go to a tool called Keyword Planner. It's a free tool by Google. If you've got your Gmail account, you'll be able to get into it dead easily. If you haven't, then you can still get into it, but it's a bit more difficult. So I typed in commercial carpet cleaning, and what I can also do is I can say that, okay, show me this keyword, but also tell me what this keyword, how many times it's been searched on within a certain area. So even though I'm not putting that keyword even though I'm not being Birmingham in my keyword, I'm telling Google how popular is this keyword in Birmingham or Dudley or wherever. Yeah, so you can really narrow down the sort of information that you get back from Google. So in this case, it was telling me that commercial carpet cleaning. I use Dudley, sorry, for this example. It's been searched 140 times in the past month. Carpet cleaning, 12,000 times. Commercial carpet cleaning prices, 12 times. Commercial carpet cleaners, 70 times. And the way this information is used is you might have some pages of your website whereby you might have not realized the importance of, say, putting your prices on a separate page. Because now, by looking at this, you think, okay, well, if in Dudley, an average of 12 people are typing in commercial carpet cleaning prices, that's, even though it's searched for a lot less, the quantity of search is a lot less, the quality of the actual keyword is very, very, very high, because it means that they're looking for commercial carpet cleaners and they're looking for prices. So what I can do when I'm going to start optimizing my website, I can target that keyword as commercial carpet cleaning prices, and I can have a separate page for that, put more prices on that page, knowing that at some point in time there's a chance that Google's going to pick it up. There are other tools out there. One of them is Word Tracker, a very good tool, very popular. Keyword Guy. But if you generally type in keyword research tool, you will get a whole load of the tools. The reason I'm saying Google Keyword Planner is it's free. Yeah, so use it. Okay, step 3 of on-page optimization is your title tag. Your title tag is... Step 3. Step 3. What? Yeah, I think that door doesn't help either. Step 3 of your on-page optimization is your title tag. Your title tag is considered to be the most important, one of the most important factors of SEO. And what it is when anyone's got a web page, at the top of the web page you've got the blue bar, and it's the wording that gets displayed in that blue bar, which is your title tag. Yeah. The way Google uses a title tag is this blue part here. So whatever's in your title tag will get displayed right over here. So if your company is called Jim's Carpet Cleaning or Jim's Cleaning Services, that's great, yeah, because it's sort of branding, yeah. But that's what's going to be displayed here. But if I'm searching for a carpet cleaning company, and if I see the word in here called Carpet Cleaning Dudley, yeah, psychologically that's going to be a very relevant search result for me. So the likelihood of me clicking on that is going to be very high. And Google will not change that. That's the main thing to remember. You know, whatever you put in your title tag will remain there, and Google will not manipulate it. On a technical term, to change your title tag, what you've got to do is in your code, you put this little tag here called title, you put your title in it, and you put an end title. So basically your title is wrapped between this tag here and this tag here with a slash at the end of it. Simple. Yeah?
That'd be for HTML website though, not for WordPress.
WordPress is HTML. Yeah.
Yeah, but
so
you do that usually on the it's already set up without you to put the tags in.
Yeah.
So you don't need to
depending depending on the content management system that you're using, some most content management systems will have to do this for you. Yeah, they'll have to put the title tag there for you. So when considering a page name, just take that into account, because some content management systems won't, because they'll leave it entirely up to you. And there are, if using the example of WordPress again, what WordPress will do is it will put a default title tag in your page. So if you've got a page called prices, what WordPress will typically do is it'll say, okay, that title tag, when it gets displayed here, it will be called prices, and there'll be a bar there, and there'll be a company name. But then what you can do, you can say, alright, I don't like that, and I want to edit that. And to edit it, there's plugins available like Yoast, whereby you can install the software plugin and edit that title tag. The main thing is being aware of that title tag. They can find out how I can change that title tag.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I mean. We do have Yoast on our
You got Yoast.
So
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So if you've got a Yoast plugin, you've got a lot more control over what the CMS actually does. Yeah. Hello.
In terms of testing deadlines, if you change that title tag often, for example, every month, is that going to go against your Google ranking?
Not at all. Never. No. Change it as many times as you want to. It won't affect Google at all. What you got to remember is just because you change your title tag today, it's not going to be changed on Google today either. Because Google's got these robots. They're called bots. Like Googlebot. Called one of the robots called Googlebot. So periodically it'll come and visit your website, and it'll go back, it'll process information, and it'll say, right, okay, I want to now change what gets displayed on search engine results. It's a search engine results page. It's called SERPs, a search engine results page. So just because you change it today, if Google hasn't come to your website, crawled it, taken the information back, processed it, and decided it's going to update your title, it doesn't matter how many times you change it, that's not going to be changed. There are things that you can do to influence how often Google comes to your website, and that all depends on how well you're looking after your website, how many times you're updating your website. Not just title tags, the whole website, the content, the blogs, the testimonials, the reviews. The more activity that's going on your website, the more Google will start visiting your website. So that's why it's important to look after your website, not just set it up, walk away, and think that everything's going to happen by magic. It's not.
So when you say the more things you do to it, like update, like what would you do?
Okay.
What would you do to get it so that it's got
I will briefly touch base on this, but very briefly, it's things like your blogs, yeah, because if you've got a product, if I've got this phone here, there's only so much I can write about this phone before I just sort of run out of ideas, and I can't just write for the sake of writing. But one very powerful way is introducing a blog within your website. So if you're writing constant blogs within your website, you're giving reason, you're putting new fresh content out there, you're giving a reason to Google to visit your website more often. The more often Google visits your website, the more your website's going to get crawled. Likewise with, sorry?
Would you need to blog every day or something, write something every day?
You don't need to do anything, right? It's basically how often you do it will determine how often Google's going to visit and the quality of it. If you can do it every day, great, do it every day. Yeah, if you can do it once a month, great, do it once a month. If you do it once every 2 months, do it every 2 months. Yeah, but it's not the only factor that determines how often Google visits your website. Yeah, there are other things like your website itself, the bounce rate of your website. Testimonials. Google Plus has an influence on your website. So there are a number of factors that determine how often Google comes and visits your website.
So you just like, so you've got testimonials page and blog on your homepage, you can just update that every 2 days. Or you need to go on to every separate page you've got and put something new on every day.
I wouldn't be updating, say, the homepage just for the sake of updating your homepage or putting content on there just for the sake of the content, yeah? And when Google does optimize your website, it's not just about the homepage. It assesses it on a page-by-page sort of basis. You should get page level authority and you get domain level authority, yeah? So don't just write a testimonial, ask your web developer to put that testimonial code snippet on every single page, because that's going to be that duplicate content then. can do. If it's all ethical and genuine, then do it. Don't make stuff up. Yeah, because what I'm against is people trying to just putting artificial effort into optimizing their website, because Google does pick up on these things.
So Google is not ethical. So how can we do that?
Sorry?
Google is not ethical. So we
How can you say Google's not ethical? You can't say that. Google at the end of the day is a business, and that's all it is. You don't have to use it. Sorry? Yeah. But as a business, you don't need to use Google if you don't want to. So Google's saying that if you want me to look at your website and be indexed, you want your website to be indexed, then simply follow my guidelines. Now, if you Google the word Google guidelines and you follow that, you've got nothing to worry about. Okay? Meta tags.
Just to pick up on it, if all we do is just, I mean, the biggest thing for most of us is that we can change on our website, probably the testimonials, by adding those in. So if we just add, and that's usually on the testimonials page, if we just keep adding that just when and if we can, because that's more often or less often, and it's one page out of, say, a 5, 6 page site, that's better than doing nothing, is what you said.
Look, you see, what I said earlier is that just updating your website alone isn't the only factor that Google uses to determine how often it's actually going to come to your website. And I did also say there's a lot of off-page factors as well, which also influence how often Google is going to not just visit your website, but actually index your website. Yeah. So if you've got a testimonials page, you can carry on updating that page, but then the authority that's going to get that page is going to be that page itself. What some people are doing is that taking the last 3 testimonials and putting them on sort of various pages. Yeah, so you're getting refreshed content every single day. You're getting reviews. If you've got a review section on your website, it's an absolute fantastic way so that people can come onto one of your pages, say, I want to write a review, to write a review, even if it's a few words. That is new content that Google can start updating. Yeah. Likewise with blogs.
How do you go about with spams though? I turn comments off on my website because you just get spam and it's just annoying.
Depending on the platform that you're using, like you said, you use the platform WordPress. In WordPress you can turn spam off, but spam it's another major topic. There's no getting away from it. Because spammers will always be in some way or another.
So for me, it'd be blogging.
There's things that you can do to reduce it, but it'll never go away. Yeah. Step 4, another very important factor is I'm going to be talking about meta tags. And the various types of meta tags, and this one that I'm talking about now is called the meta description. And the reason it's really important is because, again, it gets displayed on the Google search engine results page. So this text here, when you search for something, is influenced by your meta description tag. Yeah. So in this case, I typed in lower Drayton Farm, and that's the title tag of this website here, and that Google will not change. Over here, what Google will do is it'll read your meta description tag, and it'll say, do I want to display that depending on what people searched for, or do I think there's something on their page which I find more relevant that I'm going to display here instead. Yeah. So it uses a combination of information to display what actually gets displayed over here. But the primary thing it looks for is your meta description, and that forms the foundation. So ideally, as much as you can, try to make your meta description as meaningful, relevant, and concise as possible, so that ideally you want Google to pick up on this. And if you do, then what's naturally going to happen is that if people are searching for your products and services, and if that's good, and that reads well, that's got a good sort of resemblance to whatever people are searching for, people are going to click on it.
I think my meta description tag is boring, but the website developer says this is what you need, so I just found something superior knowledge. I wouldn't click on it from what he puts on mine, it's very generic.
So firstly, again, as I said, it's not just up to whatever you put inside it. It's also what Google will sometimes do is it'll take a bit of a sentence from your website and it'll display that there. So it won't display the whole sentence. It will display the sentence. But if that's what is that if you've got concern about that, then I think you do need to address it with your developer to say that just take it up a bit more with it. So I think this is the type of tech I think we should be using. You see, again, coming on to PPC, what you would be able to do is do a very quick experiment. So in the PPC, what you'd be able to do is you'd be able to set up this campaign again using lower duration form. You'd be able to have one ad which sort of displays this, or whatever's on your website at the moment, and you're going to display another ad which is what the developers clicking on. And then you can see which one's got not just a better click-through rate, but which one's actually converting into sales or inquiries. Because click-through rate, I think people get a bit too carried away with click-through rate. Just because you've got a good click-through rate doesn't mean to say you've got a good ad, because you can influence a click-through rate by putting certain call to action points, and it's like that hard sales part again. But so you can drive people to your website, but if they don't find it relevant, they'll just move away. So a few of the important H tags. H tags is what's used for your actual page content. So it's the main title that gets displayed on the body of your website. So if you've got a page about carpet cleaners or commercial carpet cleaners, that big bold title on your page, put it inside an H tag. It's called an H1 tag. H1 tag tells Google this tag here tells Google that that's the most important title of my page. So what the actual format of it is you put H1, you put your title there, and I've used the same example as I did before, and you close the H1 tag. You can only have one H1 tag on a page. Now the amount of sites I optimize which don't even have an H1 tag, it's just ridiculous. And followed by H1, you've got H2 tag, H3, H4, and they're all a bit of a hierarchy. So your H2 tag is like a subtitle tag. Your H3 tag is a subtitle of the subtitle, and so on. So when thinking about your H tags, try to make them meaningful as well, if you can. If you can do, if you say prices, and you've got a whole lot of other information, you might put carpet cleaning prices as a sub tag. But make sure that you are using your H1, H2 tags. The way you can tell if you're using this, if you really want to get a bit technical, if you right mouse button, click on your page and do a view source, you'll see all the script that makes up your website. Scroll down and you'll be able to see where all your H1 and H2 tags are. Another very important tag is the alt tag. Alt tags are used whenever you put an image on your website page. Make sure you associate some text for that image. So, for example, if you've got a button on your website called Special Offers, make sure you've got some text associated with that button called an alt text, titled as Special Offers. So, in HTML terms, this is how you will typically display an image. So if the image source equals the name of the image and you close it off. But then if you put alt equals and then Special Offers, very, very, very important. And the reason that's important is because Google reads alt tags, again, to determine whether what people are searching for, is it relevant to your page. Not only does Google use it, but the reason it came out in the first place was for accessibility. So some people turn off images, and especially if people can't see very well, visually impaired. So if you turn off images, then what will happen is if you don't have a Special Offers tag, then they won't be able to see that button. But if they do turn off images on their browser, they'll still be able to use your website because that's what gets displayed instead, the alt tag.
And if you use text readers as well.
Sorry?
Text readers,
Text readers, exactly, text readers will be used. So again, people who may be visually impaired,
Can you go to the back? Can you have another meeting somewhere else? It's very good to see you.
So there is special software out there so that for the visually impaired, so that if you are using alt tags, that software will actually read out what's on your website. Don't underestimate how important that is, or how many people are actually using these pieces of software. It is a very serious issue, but it's one that people just dismiss because they think it's not really relevant for them. But if you are doing SEO, what you've got to do is make sure you've got ticks in every single box. If you've got the ticks in every single box, you've got nothing to worry about. Don't underestimate that. I don't need an alt tag, I don't need a title tag, or I don't need an H tag. Yeah, just have them all. If you've got them all, you've got nothing to worry about. Step 7 of on-page optimization is ensuring you have Google Analytics installed. There's no point doing any form of marketing whatsoever if you're not going to be able to create some sort of report to see what's actually happening with your website. So, one of the free tools out there, Google Analytics. Yeah? If you get your Gmail account, it's going to be a lot more easy to sign up onto it. And all it is, you go to google.com/analytics, sign up to their account, they'll give you a piece of code, you put it inside every page of your website. If you can't put it in every page of your website, tell your developer to put it in every page of your website. And what Google Analytics will do is it'll tell you so much information about what's actually happening with your website, what's happening with the traffic on your website, like how much traffic you're actually getting from the website, where the traffic is coming from, what sort of keywords is driving that traffic. And when I say where your traffic is coming from, it will be able to break it down that, okay, X amount of traffic is coming from your SEO, certain amount of traffic is coming from a PPC campaign that you might have done, and a certain amount of traffic might be coming from an email campaign that you might have done. Yeah. So once you start getting that information, you'll be able to make some judgment calls to say, how do I take my campaigns forward? But not only that, what Google Analytics can also then tell you is you might have a PPC campaign and an SEO campaign, and they might both be driving, say, 1,000 visitors per page, per month, for argument's sake. 1,000 visitors on PPC, 1,000 visitors on SEO. You might think, great, that's fantastic. I'm just going to up my SEO a little bit, up my PPC a little bit. But as a metric, that's the amount of visitors that you get isn't really the only factor that you should be looking at. What you should be looking at is, okay, of these visitors, how many of them are converting into sales or inquiries? Yeah, because then what you might find is, okay, for my PPC campaign, I had 1,000 people on my 1,000 people coming on my website, and I had 200 inquiries. For my SEO, I had 1,000 people coming on my website, and I had 300 inquiries or 100 inquiries. Yeah, so it's the quality of that traffic that Google Analytics will be able to tell you. Because what you can also do with Google Analytics, set goals. So if your goal is to get sales, you can tell Google that my goal is I want sales. So measure my sales, measure how many sales I've had and what the value of those sales I've had. If your goal is, I want people to sign up to a newsletter because you want to check their email address, following this statement that went on, because I want to email back to them again, set that as one of your goals in Google Analytics. That I want people to sign up, and now I want to see how many people actually signed up, how many people actually clicked on to make an inquiry, contact us, and so on. Google Analytics will do all that for you.
If you've got multiple websites, so 2 or 3 websites, how can you get Google to give you analytics for each individual one?
What you can do with Google Analytics is, depending on how technical you want to get, you can set up something called a set domain. Yeah. So you can say to Google, what I want to do. I mean, you have choices. You can either a simple way is you can say I'll set up multiple Google Analytics accounts. Yeah. But as you know, that it can be a bit difficult to maintain those accounts. Even you can set them all up in one profile. So you can have one profile and multiple domains listed in that profile, so it's easy for you to switch between one and the other and the other and the other. Yeah. The other thing you can do, you can go set domain, and you can tell Google legitimately that even though I've got one profile yeah, all these domains are mine. And the reason Google introduced that is because some people had subdomains. So instead of having www.google.com, they might have had inquire. Or demo. Or whatever, or sign up or whatever. Yeah. So that's where the set domain comes in.
So how would you tell Google you've got set domains?
How would you what, sorry?
How would you tell Google you've got set domains?
It depends on what you use. If you've added all your domains into one profile, then you'll have, it's almost like having separate Google Analytics accounts. Yeah. So you'll have an account for A.com and you'll have an account for B.com. So you click on A.com and it gives you just the information about A.com. If you click on B.com, it just gives you the information about B.com. It won't give you any other information. And you can do that all within one profile. Google Webmaster Tools. Absolutely imperative that everybody has a Google Webmaster Tools account. And the reason is that Google Webmaster account is, as I've written down, it's a bit like Big Brother looking after your website. Yeah. So what Google Webmaster Tools will do is, firstly, it'll highlight if there's any issues with your website. If Google thinks that there's an issue with your website, yeah, rather than relying on your web developer to come and tell you, because the chances are he might not tell you, or you might not get time, because he's looking after another 20 or 30 different websites. Yeah. You've got a Google Webmaster account. What you're really concerned is, I don't care what AJ thinks on my website. Yeah. I want my website listed on Google. So I want to know what Google thinks on my website. Yeah. And the way you do that is by signing up to Google Webmaster Tools. Again, it's an absolute free account. You don't need to pay. There are third-party tools out there which do this sort of stuff, but why bother when Google's doing all those tools? To sign up onto it, simply go to google.com/webmaster/tools. It's amazing how many SEO companies, PPC companies, web designers won't have implemented that. So if you have got a website, either do it yourself, or before you do it, go to your webmaster and say, can I have access, do we have a Google Webmaster account? And if he says yes, ask him for the details of it. If there is something wrong with the website, Google Webmaster Tools will tell you about it. If you use some unethical techniques, if your SEO company is using any form of unethical techniques where they're marketing your website, your SEO company not going to tell you, because that's their bread and butter. They're likely not going to tell you that. We use some golden techniques. Yeah? Who will tell you? Google Webmaster Tools will tell you. And make sure you get access to it. And if your webmaster says you can't because it's our property, so just run a mile, because you can, and it's yours. They can add you as a user, as a read-only user, and you can get access to it. Yeah. So also think about broken pages. So if you've got pages, you might be spending a lot of money every single month driving traffic to your website, either via PPC or social media or email campaigns or SEO, whatever. Yeah. And because you might have so many pages, the likelihood of you going to every single link, clicking on them, and testing your website, I doubt it. If there's going to be one show of hands who's going to say that I've done that and I do that every single month. You just don't get time to do it. Who does it? Google Webmaster Tools does it for you. So there are things. What I should have wrote in here. When it identifies broken pages, Google calls that a 404 page. 404. If you see any 404s, yeah, do something about it. And when I say do something about it, the action could be, I'm not going to do anything about it, but at least you've addressed it. Yeah, because it could be that, yes, it's broken, I don't want that page anymore, I don't want the service anymore, so I'll let it die down. And what will happen is, over time, Google will de-index that page, it'll get rid of it. Yeah? But if you have too many 404s, Google starts raising a few eyebrows that will just say, why is the site got so many 404s? Now, if you have got a broken page, what you can do, you can say to Google that, well, that page is gone because it was taken over by this page here. So you can legitimately, because Google Webmaster Tools are identified, you can point that page to that new page. And whatever effort or juice it's called, Google has given that page, it will pass it over to the new page. Don't get too technical, but it's called a 301 redirect. A 301 redirect is whereby you're telling Google this page is permanently moved to this page here now. So whatever, if you've got a page in Google and it was at position number 3, and you spent 3 years building that reputation with Google for that page, and all of a sudden that's no longer used because you've got another page, you don't want to lose that 3 years worth of effort because this new page is coming on. So just tell Google, there was a page here, and now it's gone to this page. Pass over the juice, that all the credits that you got for this page over to the new page.
How long does that take for it to? We did a website change 2 years ago, and obviously we've done the redirect on our old domain to our new domain. Is 2 years long enough for that?
Typically it should take 3 months.
Right.
If it hasn't done it,
kept it for 2 years just in case we lose.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad thing. To pass it's called the page authority. To pass the page of authority from one page to another, it typically takes about 3 months. Yeah. You might decide to leave that there, but the way you decide whether you're going to leave it there is you go into your Google Analytics and you see, are people still visiting that page? Because it could be that you've done some promotions, you participated in a blog or a forum, and somebody somewhere is still linking to that page. So you think, I don't want to get rid of it. Yeah. So therefore, but if you find that nobody's visiting the old page, then just get rid of it. It's a bit of housekeeping. So you're using a combination of Google Analytics and Google Webmaster Tools to actually get this information from you. The last thing Google Webmaster Tools does, which is also equally as important, is it allows you to do various configurations. It allows you to say, my website is about a UK, yeah? It's about UK or England only or whatever, yeah? And this is the time zone that I want you to use. If somebody goes from a website, I don't want them to display www.carpets.com, I want you to display carpets.com. It allows you to do basic configurations. And by giving Google that information, what you're doing is you're not wasting Google's time, because Google's only got probably a matter of like seconds to crawl your website. So if you've got some unnecessary information on your website, you're wasting its time and it's not giving the attention to the website you deserve. So some basic configurations it allows you to do. It also allows you to do some other technical stuff, like telling Google Webmaster where certain important files of your website are kept, which I'll go into.
Is that in your sitemap then?
Your sitemap, your robots file, so I'll go into that a little later on, yeah. Oh, sorry, well, it's not too later on, it's now. Okay. Another, I keep saying important, and these are really important. So there are so many other things that you can do when it comes to SEO, but I just want you to tick all the boxes of the main things that you should be looking out for, and your web developer may have developed. If he hasn't, then it's up to you to bring it to the attention to your web developer, because if you ask someone to develop your website, by default, they are not going to optimize your website, and they're not obliged to optimize your website unless it was in the actual contract in the first place. They will not give you a certain, they will not sign you up to Google Webmaster Tools, they will not give you sitemap or whatever. Hence the reason I'm telling you all this, so that you can then go back to your webmaster and say, do we have this? Do we have this? If so, where is it? Can I have access to it? If you're saying you can't have access to it, let me know, because there's no reason why they should hide that sort of information from you. Now, I'm talking about sitemap, a sitemap file. What a sitemap file is the actual format of the sitemap file is typically sitemap.xml. Yeah. And what it tells Google is when you come onto my website, instead of you crawling my website and trying to work out where all the pages and all the links are and everything else, I'll tell you, I'll help you. So you're helping Google to help you. So if you make Google's life easy, Google's going to love you for it, because it can index your website better. If it indexes your website better, there's more chance of your search engine results, your website being listed in the search engine results better. So it's a technical file, and it simply tells Google what are the main pages, what are the main categories, product pages of my website, and where are they. It also tells Google which are the important pages on my website, because what you can do in XML files you can set a priority, like from 0 to 5, I think 0 to 10 or something, but people rarely go beyond 5. And you can tell Google that these are the most important pages, and these are the least important pages. So what you're doing is you're helping Google to help you. Going back to Google Webmaster Tools, what you can do is you can help Google further by saying, Google, when you come onto our website, right, don't just try to find my sitemap file. I'll tell you where it is. It's over here. You see what I'm doing? So Google's got, say, 2 seconds to crawl your website. So you've now told Google that instead of crawling the 100 pages, here's my sitemap file. Go to it and look at all these pages over here. You're helping Google. So, within your website files, canonical issues are whereby you've got one page and you've got multiple variations of that page. And what you're doing to Google is saying that even though I've got multiple variations or multiple parameters, where you know when you type in www.pagename.com, you might have question mark a equals 1, b equals 2, whatever. So that one page might be indexed about 4 or 5 times. So Google's then going to come along and say, hang on, so you've got this one page indexed in Google 4 or 5 times, so where is your main page? And you can introduce a special tag, canonical tag, and you're legitimately telling Google, this is the main page. Yeah. I'm going to use that phrase again. Another very important file is your robots.txt file. Yeah. Now your robots.txt, again, what you're trying to do is trying to help Google to say, only look at the stuff that I want you to look at. Yeah. Don't waste your time looking at stuff that you should not be looking at, or is not going to have any relevance to. I don't want it displayed in search engines. Yeah. So, for example, again, I'll use the example of WordPress. If you've got WordPress, you've got an admin area. An admin area is where you can go somewhere and type in, basically look after your website, so you can change the contents and everything else. You don't want that indexing Google. Yeah. So you don't want people to be accessing carpets.com/wp-index or /admin.php or whatever. So what you do is you say to, in your robots file, there's a way you can say disallow. So you can say to Google, disallow these pages to be indexed within Google. Yeah? As a matter of interest, what you might like to do, or if you go home, go to your domain name. So if your domain name is carpets.com, type in carpets.com/robots.txt, and you'll see exactly what's there. Sometimes it's very frightening what's out there and shocking. And the reason is somebody has put in your robots file a disallow all because they weren't aware of what it does, or they weren't aware of its configuration, or whatever. What they've done accidentally or without knowing is you've told Google, yep, I've got all these pages, but don't bother with me, go away. So all of a sudden, you're spending your time, effort, marketing various pages of your website, yeah, and you tell Google, go away, I don't want you. Right? Or there might be a page in your website which your web developer thought we're not going to tell Google about, but you might think, hang on, mate, that's a really important page. I want Google to know about this page. Yeah. So you can do all these sorts of things in robots.txt. So do always keep an eye. I'm not saying once a month or whatever, just once in a blue moon. Take a look at your robots file in case somebody has done something wrong there. Yeah. What you can do is if you want to create a robots file, so if you go to carpets.com/robots.txt and it says page not found or this page doesn't exist, it means you haven't got one. It's as simple as that. Yeah. So what you can do then is either tell your web developer to develop you one and put on there, or you can go to just type in any sort of keyword like robot generation file or something. Like over here, there's www.robotsgenerator.com. You go there and you fill in the details, and it will give you the actual file. And then all you've got to do is to tell your web developer, please upload this onto my website. There are other files, but I'm not going to go into them today. I'll come back onto blog again. Just make sure your websites have blogs. And the reason I'm such a fan of blogs is Google loves contents and Google loves blogs. Yeah. So if you haven't got a blog, it's the best way, one of the best ways to keep your content refreshed on your website. So create a blog page, put regular posts on your put regular posts on your blog, which helps again keep content refreshed and great for search engines. When writing blogs, don't just write a blog for the sake of a blog. Make sure it's quality, because if it's quality, people will read it and people will stay on that page for a lot longer. If they're staying on that page for longer, there's one thing in which you pick up on Google Analytics. It's called a bounce rate. Yeah. So if you go inside, I think it's behaviors, page contents, site contents. There's a factor called bounce rate, and the bounce rate is how many people are going to your page and just getting off it within like seconds. If they come onto your page and stay on your page for a degree of time, then it's not constituted as a bounce rate. So what you can do, if you've written a blog, you can drill down to the blog and you can see what the bounce rate of that page is. If you see it's got a very high bounce rate, the quality of the blog could be rubbish, or people aren't finding it relevant. Yeah. And if people aren't finding it relevant, they're not going to talk about it. If they're not talking about it, they're not going to share it. If they're not sharing it, Google's not really going to index it much. Yeah. So instead of writing like a blog a day of whatever amount of words, it's actually much more worthwhile to say I'm going to write a blog once a month, but I'm going to make a damn good quality blog. Yeah. If you've got any more questions about blogs or whatever, let me know.
How long should a blog be, or how short should it be, or can you make it too long, too short?
I think the guidelines used to be that make sure you've got at least 400 words in a blog. Yeah. And that is because you're giving Google a good chance to understand what your blog is all about. Yeah.
You shouldn't be typing keywords in it and that sort of thing. It's just a matter of writing a story that's interesting.
You do take keywords into account. I will talk about keywords. I'll talk about keyword density. Yeah. And when I get customers, I'm always scared to tell them about keyword density. And keyword density is a factor to say, if you've got 1,000 words on your page, how many of your main keywords, how many times your main keywords should appear in that blog? Because people get carried away, and then it's constituted as over-optimization. Over-optimize your website, you get penalized.
It's got to make sense, basically.
Your blogs should be about users. Your content should be about users. It shouldn't be about search engines. Do not give somebody a brief. You know, like there's a lot of these freelancer forums out there and so on, where people say, we'll write an SEO-rich blog for you. Just be very careful, because what they really mean is that they're going to use a lot of your keywords. Google is now clever. It wasn't born yesterday, it was born like many years ago. Sometimes, without even mentioning the actual keyword, Google will use semantics and various other sort of algorithms it uses to understand what your blog is all about. For example, if you use the word women, it might associate with ladies as well. Yeah, because it'll use that process of association. So if you've got a blog, make sure it's a quality blog, it's a useful blog, it's informative, and people will want to read it, people want to share it. Google will automatically pick up on everything. I should have skipped this. I should have gone to this slide before I started talking about keyword density. Now, make sure that when optimizing your website, make sure every single page is unique. Not just to the page, but to your site as well. Yeah? So, like we were talking earlier on, that you've got multiple sites. Don't just take content from one site and put it onto another site. Make sure your content is properly unique. And that doesn't mean to say you just change 1 or 2 words here or there, here or there. It's not going to work. Yeah? I've got a customer and he fits boilers across the UK. And he's had this clever software done. Well, he thought it was clever. Which you write the content once, and all it does, it creates the same pages again, creates about 1,000 pages, all with the town names. The only thing different is the phone numbers. It's a matter of time before that guy gets put down by Google. Don't do it. Unique content. When I say unique, it means that content that Google has not actually seen before, whether on your website or whether it's somebody else's. Again, my point about write for humans and don't write for Google. Because if you're writing it for humans, it's going to be good English, it's going to be well structured, Google will love it.
You only mentioned carpet cleaning a certain amount of times, aren't you, if you blog? If you're blogging about carpet cleaning,
okay.
Today, so the word today will be in it, the word carpet will be in it, and clean will be in it.
Yeah.
So,
when you're writing blogs, a blog, what you got to think of is that if you're in the carpet cleaning industry, don't just write about carpet cleaning. Write about other things that might be associated with general home care. Yeah, because people who want to use a process of association, that if somebody's going to have their carpet cleaned, it means generally they're a home person. That target person may be male, female. If you go inside Google Analytics or Google AdWords, you're able to see your audiences. So you might be able to see that 60% of people who are searching for carpet cleaners are females or males or whatever. So let's say if it is females, you might write and you want to write another blog. Okay? You might say they've got a natural interest in keeping the house clean. So I'm going to write something else to do with keeping houses clean. Yeah. So it doesn't always have to be about carpet cleaning, carpet cleaning, carpet cleaning. It could even be about ceramic tiles. Yeah. So or laminate floors.
We've got hay fever allergies, we've
Absolutely.
got keeping the kids
Advice.
interested and tired.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Advice. General advice.
Pets and dogs. And
Yeah. Yeah. What's going to make your overall blog useful? If you keep talking about carpet cleaning, you might as well not bother, right? Just put some useful. What you want is people to sign up to your blog, and the way you do that is by writing good information, which isn't. You're not going to bore people about carpet cleaning all the time. Yeah, it's going to be like we just said here. Yeah, it could be about ceramics, it could be about pets, it could be about furniture. Yeah, because it's all traffic that's coming to your website at the end of the day. And in your footer, yeah, you can have an author blog put in, hi, I'm Joe Blogs, I'm the owner of so and so website, and it's got your brand name in there. Yeah, so you're automatically promoting your whole website by writing useful blogs in there, and Google is picking up on all this information. It's very clever.
And you could write stories like Alan, he told us that story that showed up in terms of his customer one day. There was another cleaner who was doing and he could announce, yeah, we do upholstery as well.
Yeah.
And he told a story
That's right, yeah.
about a customer.
That's right, yeah. So, it could be, what I normally do for my customers is that if I find something new has happened, I'll blog about it. Or if I find that there's been a problem that a lot of people are asking me, like I don't know, one of my blogs is about how to choose a domain name. And going on to Stuart's question earlier on, he asked how long a blog should be. And I decided that my blog's going to be quite long because I want to make it quite detailed. And it ended up being about 1,200 words of how to choose a domain name. But I really had to hold myself back there. But it's a very useful blog because everybody asking me how do you choose a domain name, where do you first, or where do I start, what's a good domain name, what's a bad domain name. Early on, Alan was talking about something that's technically called an EMD update, a Google exact match domain update. What a lot of people were doing back in the days, they were buying a domain name called carpetcleaning.com or carpetcleaningbirmingham.com, and they're thinking, and Google used to prioritize those domain names because it's got the domain name and it's a run seal effect. What the EMD update did, one of Google's updates, is it said, all right, I'm not going to penalize you, right, for having an EMD domain name, but I'm not going to promote you either, just because you've got the right domain name. So no domain name is getting very hard to get, so I'm not going to promote you either for that. With the exception is if you've got a high quality website, and then I will take EMD into account. Again, it always comes back onto quality quality, relevance, and promotion.
Edwin, just quickly on, you know, about blogging, like decided to start blogging.
Oh, I got lost then. I was thinking, who's that talking?
I mean, you might have blog, people come back to the blog, read it, put something on, whatever. Where are you going to place that? Somewhere in amongst your 100 pages you've got, or a link on the front page, or what?
Okay, a blog is normally self-contained, yeah? So normally you've got your domain name, carpetcleaning.com/blog, or blogs, and you write all your blogs over there, yeah? And that is generates an index page of all your blogs. You click on a blog, and it'll say if your blog was about ceramic tiles, so then it might have carpets.com/ceramic tiles.
So essentially it's not a page.
It is a page, but it doesn't necessarily have to have like a subfolder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're writing everything in one area.
So if that page then is hitting, a lot of visitors, that's on the website, is there a chance of it outweighing your homepage where all your relevant information is?
You would have to write such a super blog to actually be able to do that. You would have to be a Google insider, and you're telling Google.
So when you do this blog, how are you getting people to find interesting parts?
Okay. Firstly, Google's indexing your website anyway. Yeah. Your sitemap, you're telling Google where your blogs are and your latest posts are. Yeah. So Google is naturally going to index that anyway, right? As long as you haven't blocked it, which you can do by robot.txt. If it's a good blog, people will start using that blog, right? If they start using it, they'll be linking back to your website again. If you're writing a blog, don't just write a blog and just leave it there. Do something with it, promote it a little bit. If you've got a social media platform, if you've got Facebook, if you've got Twitter, tweet about it. Put it on Facebook. Tell people that I've written a blog. Here it is.
You've got Hootsuite and Hootsuite.
I'll cover that. I have actually mentioned it. Yeah. You've got LinkedIn. Yeah. LinkedIn is such a powerful platform. It's almost like an online professional CV, and I recommend everyone should have a LinkedIn account. And in LinkedIn, you can actually post that. Here's one of my latest blogs. What LinkedIn will do is that they will determine that have people started reading this blog. If they have, LinkedIn sends out emails, like millions of emails every single day. All it will do is that it include your latest blog in their email broadcast. And if they do, instantly you'll have like thousands of people exposure, like thousands. And that's then going to start affecting your website authority. And then
Will it not affect your brand rate though, because those people may not be in your area?
Yeah, what I said about blogs is that they shouldn't necessarily, they should be about useful information. So if it's about ceramic tiles, you don't have to do ceramic tiles in Dudley or Birmingham. It could just be general advice on ceramic tiles.
So you're basically saying people are going to go on there, read it, it's going to put your that's the word now.
If they start visiting your website, that'll be a signal that Google will start using, that there's something good about this content, and there's something good about this website. But not only that, but people start sharing it. And the more people that share it, one of the most important factors about off-page factors that Google uses is how many people are actually linking or talking about your website. And the more people are linking to your website and talking about it ethically and from reliable, related sources, the more power it's going to give to your website. So hence the reason promoting your blog is really important. Because it gets people talking, it gets people engaging about your blog. Use bullet points on your website page. Don't just write words and words of text, because people haven't got patience nowadays. They just want to read the page and read a few bullet points and make an inquiry. Also, if you are creating pages in your website, just put links to other pages as well. So if I've got a page, I'm talking about ceramic tiles, and I mentioned the word carpet tiles in there, and I know I've got a page about carpet tiles. The word carpet tile, just hyperlink it to that other page. So you cross it, so you're helping Google again crawl your website. It's creating a bit of a web. That's enough about on-page optimization. There is a lot more that I can cover, but we really don't have the time for that. So these were what I consider one of the most important things. should cover for on-page optimization. Now we're going on to off-page optimization. Remember I said that more than 60% of your influence comes from off-page optimization rather than the things that you do on your actual website itself. And what we're trying to do here is that what we're trying to achieve by off-page optimization, again, the earlier points that I made, is that we want people to talk about your website ethically, and we don't want to. We're not talking about links. People linking to your website. What happens? That as soon as Google released this algorithm called reciprocal linking many years ago, and what that meant is that if you've got a lot of links pointing to your website, Google's going to instantly rank you higher. And so people started doing reciprocal linking practices. They decided, I'm saying to you that here's a link, put it on your website, and give me a link in return. And started doing all these. And then the dodgy people went to countries like India and started paying these people like pennies, and these all these people like a little whatever, and putting loads and loads of links back to your website again. Google caught on to that and say, no, we're not going to have any of this anymore now. All we're talking about now is ethical linking, natural linking, organic linking, where people are talking about your website because they want to talk about it, not because you told them how to talk about it. Yeah. So the word is called reverse engineering. Don't try to reverse engineer Google. Don't try to work out what Google's algorithm is, so therefore how am I going to try to cheat Google? Google will have the last say at the end of the day. Social media, right? You can't do without it now. There's a lot of people who haven't got social media accounts. A lot of people out there who don't understand why do I need social media. It's not for me. I don't get any sales out of it or whatever. But it's now a major factor, a ranking factor. Google uses social media signals to determine, as one of its factors, your website rankings. If you're not doing social media, that's a big crossing your box. Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, YouTube. Yeah. For example, if I've put something on Twitter, and if I retweet it, or somebody retweets it, or a number of people retweet it, that's going to count as an endorsement. So Google's going to say that there's something about that tweet that was really good, or there's something about that share that was really good, because people are talking about it, people are commenting about it. Oh, who's the owner of this Twitter account, by the way? It's this website here. So they'll associate your social media account with your website. Hence the reason it gets these signal factors. Yeah.
What I found is that carpet cleaning as a subject is not something that we can talk about all the time. It's not one of these sexy.
Yeah, it's boring. Yeah. Sorry. No, what I mean. Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. What I meant is that I'm really sorry about that. Yeah. Don't talk to me about me on this. What I mean, what I really mean is that it's that point that gentleman made at the back. You can't keep talking about you can't keep talking about carpet cleaning all the time. Yeah. So even if you've got a social media account, you can't keep talking about carpet cleaning all the time. If I was doing SEO, I can't keep talking about SEO all the time. People are going to say, look, we don't know about SEO anymore now, because we're bored of that topic. Yeah? Tell them about something else. So what I'm doing is I'm telling them other things. Yeah? I'm telling them about Google updates. I'm telling them about conversion rates, how to maximize the conversion rates of your page.
That's sort of relevant to your field of expertise.
Yeah, but your field, if you think about it as a category, it could be home and furnishing. Yeah, if you think about it laterally, it doesn't have to be about carpets. Whoever's interested in carpets will have a home, yeah, or they've got some sort of interest in home. So you're thinking more laterally and thinking that somebody who has got a carpet, what else might they be interested in? Might be interested in furniture, pets, tiling, kitchen. So the home care, general home care, how to look after things yourself. Sometimes even tell people how to clean carpets themselves in 3 easy ways. Yeah, you're not going to lose business by that, because those people who want to clean it, yeah, you won't by giving. If I'm standing here today and I'm talking to you about SEO, I don't feel threatened that you guys are going to go ahead and do all the SEO yourselves. If you want to, that's really great. But it doesn't necessarily mean that just because you know about something, you're just going to go ahead and do it and sack your agency or whatever. It just means that you've got a bit more knowledge, and you can do something with that knowledge, and you can use it to your advantage. You can even talk to your agency a lot better about it. Yeah, if someone's talking about carpet cleaning, you might see some products that if I've got a little swell, as a first point of call, I might just what products are in the market that might get rid of that spill. So I might just want to go to down to Sainsbury's and get that product that you recommended in your blog or your social media. If it doesn't work, I know I've got to hire an expert. Yeah, and that's where you come in. Who's the expert? It's that person that gave the advice to me in the first place. Yeah. So we've got to stop being protective about what we do.
Does Google recommend Twitter as a website update?
Does Google update? Does Google what, sorry?
My website has a Twitter feed. Is that Google recommend that as
See, the problem is, the common problem is that, so the Twitter feed is on your website, yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So, yeah. The common problem with that is that the feed itself is placed on a website using a piece of technology called JavaScript. Google does not read JavaScript, yeah? So you can go to social media, you can go to Facebook and say, I want to put this, I want to put my 5 latest Facebook posts on my website, yeah? Thinking that it's content research because everybody's talking. Even though visually it is, yeah, but technically it's not because it's using JavaScript and Google does not read Java. Anything you do in JavaScript, Google will not even know about it, yeah? Where it does help, however, is indirectly, because if you have got Twitter feeds on your website, yeah, there's a chance that you might keep that visitor on your website for a bit more longer. And so it's indirectly, if you're keeping that visitor on there a bit more longer, there's an attribute. Like people saying there's something about that website that people are liking. And if people are clicking on your Twitter and going to a third-party website, that also counts as a plus sign for you that you're sharing content. So there's indirect benefits. It's not just optimization. Sorry, I saw the hand there.
So, is there a way to add it to that, it's not JavaScript?
Sorry, okay, I'm not a developer, right? But I understand that Twitter, either they have or they're going to release something called API access. And API access, I mean, I know Google does it. And what it means is that you go to your website developer, right? And you can say, using Google's API service, their services, using Google's API service, or Twitter's API service, or Facebook's API service, go and get this code from my Twitter account and put it on my website in a Google-friendly way. Yeah. So what you got to be looking out for is the word API. Does Twitter support API calls or API services? And if they do, go to a developer and tell them to get the information and display it as plain HTML, and then Google will read it. But if you do the normal by just getting the code, it'll never read it.
And can I ask you, how do you get rid of a keyboard warrior who posts something on Google that is untrue?
It's a nightmare. I've got
somebody put down she never turned up.
Yeah.
Well, she never booked.
Yeah.
I've got no right to reply.
Yeah.
To some idiot
First of all, there's nothing you can do, right? And what you can do, there's only one thing you can do. First of all, if it's abusive, if it's illegal, abusive, contains various sectors like adult material or porn or gambling or something like that, you can report that to Google, right? That's the easy one, right? First step you should do is contact the owner of that website or the Twitter feed or whatever, yeah, to say, can you remove that content? Just be ethical. Don't get abusive about it, because they'll just tell you to go and jump, yeah? Apart from that, there's nothing else you can do. What some people do is that they try to say, okay, I'm now going to try to get some more rankings above it so that his post gets moved lower and lower and lower down the page, yeah? But in terms of removing it, there's nothing you can do.
So you don't just do the webmaster for the information of character. You can put that on there with no justification at first.
No. I don't. I mean, you're using the example defamation of character. I'm not sure whether Google Webmaster
No,
will
at the
support
end of
that.
the day, if somebody puts something on paper that's not true, that's
No.
defamation of character.
No.
So you could theoretically sue them.
No. Well, okay, I don't know the legalities, yeah? But you see, Google Webmaster Tools, it's concerned with your web and your web only, your website only. Anything outside that, you won't be able to influence any third-party listings on it. What you can do is something called a disavow. But what a disavow is, you're telling Google to ignore any incoming links from various websites, but you won't be able to tell people to get rid of it for you, any third-party website.
So somebody can print anything they like on Google Plus.
Yeah.
So you can't do anything about it.
Report it to Google, but Google's not obliged to take it off.
So
I'll-
isn't there a reply box?
Yeah, there's a report here. You can report them, but Google is not obliged to take that link off.
But
If-
even on eBay, you've got half a chance as soon as giving you a bad, do you know what I mean?
You know.
You've got a chance to actually say, well, it would be lovely had you booked.
Yeah,
But you haven't even got that on
the
Google
way-
Plus.
The way to generally handle it is just send a very professional response back to that post, saying that this is thanks for your comment, Sarah. We're sorry to hear this, but this is actually what happened. But what you shouldn't do is try to get into a war, because if you get into a war, they'll get into a war. And people know that there's lots of review sites out there, and people know that anyone's going to put any sort of comments on those review sites, and people haven't got control of them.
So it'd be better to give them like a £60 credit for its other thing.
To take that comment off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really encourage that, because that's going into the ransom sort of thing. Otherwise, you're gonna set up a new craze. It's very difficult. Speaking of social media, there are tools out there. So if you've got a Twitter account, you've got your Facebook, you've got this, you've got that. You know, how do I go inside Facebook, put an update there? How do I go inside Gmail, put an update? Likewise with Twitter. There's so many things to manage. Yeah. So to help you manage them, it's good if you can go to one central place whereby all the management is done there and then. Yeah. And it distributes everything out for you into various platforms. Some examples are these three that I've given over here: Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE.com, SproutSocial.com, and Social, that's OOOMPH.com. There are a lot of others out there. All you've got to do is just Google the word social media management tools. There are free ones, there are paid ones, and so on. They're well worth it, because they can, if you're out and about, I can put a post on my phone using one of these, and it automatically distributes it for me. Okay. Google Plus, very important again, especially if you're a local business. If you provide a service which is local to your community, your town, your location, whatever, it's absolutely imperative you have a Google Plus account. Earlier on I said sign up to a Gmail account, and that allows you to sign up to Google Analytics, Google Webmaster Tools, and also allow you to sign up to Google Plus. Google Plus combined with Google My Business. Yeah, Google Plus is almost like a Facebook sort of equivalent, where people can post Facebook's likes equivalent and share your posts and so on. Yeah, but it's heavily used by Google as a ranking factor in Google My Places. Remember one of my first slides showed the AdWords section, the organic section, and then Google My Places. Yeah. Well, Google Plus ratings are now used to influence who gets listed in Google My Business.
Is Google My Business and Google My Places the same thing?
Yeah, it's changed its terminology like so many times now. It used to be called.
And is that the one where it's the map?
Yeah.
Is that rank higher on a mobile? If you've done a search on a mobile, that's come up quite high.
Sometimes it does. If you add the location name.
You put the location.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Then the
Normally
maps
that comes above.
get prioritized. And likewise, if on the campaigns, if people have put their mobile preferences, those get listed above everything else. Now, soon, matter of time, responsive websites are going to be listed before everybody else's. Yeah. Encourage reviews if you can. When you go out to see a customer, and if they've done something, ask them to give you a review on Google Plus. If they haven't got a Google Plus, they may have a Facebook account. Just say, can you please go to one of my customers is offering again. He does landlord gas certificates, so of course CP12s. And what he's doing is that he's giving free gas certificates as long as somebody goes to his website, goes to his Facebook account, writes a comment, and shares his comment and likes his page. How well it's working, I don't know, but social media, very powerful tool. The more people you can encourage to write comments, engage, talk to one another, it's only going to benefit yourself. Yeah. Use something when posting on social media. Use something called hashtags. Yeah, the hash symbol there to highlight any keywords like carpets, cleaning, tiles, care, Dudley, Southampton, Birmingham. Yeah, because again, these will be used as tags to pick up your contents when people are searching for various contents. So you're telling the social media platform, these are my important keywords. And what also that happens when you click on them, Google then, if they see a big enough demand for them, it starts grouping them up into a separate group of its own. So make sure you're using your hashtags. Lastly, connect your Google Plus to your website again, so that when people are going to your Google Plus, your My Business, and they're writing comments and sharing it, Google knows that this Google Plus profile belongs to this website here. Yeah. So when your website does get listed, you will then give your website more of a chance of being listed in Google My Business. So you're not just relying on PPC, yeah, whereby you're going to pay every time. You're not just relying on organics, whereby it's long term, but if you get there, it's free. But now you've got this third sector, Google My Business. And the reason Google's doing all this is it's commercialized, yeah. But there you go. Spoken about Google My Business. What you should all do is once you've signed up to your Google Plus and all the other signups that I asked you to do, just go to www.google.co.uk/business. Go there, whether you've got one location or you've got multiple locations, as long as they're legitimate locations and as long as you've got legitimate addresses for those locations and not PO boxes, yeah, you can tell Google that these are my locations. Yeah, and what Google will do is it'll say, okay, if that's your location, within 1 to 2 weeks I'll send you a postcard. And on that postcard there's going to be a piece of code. Might be 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you get that code, come back to me again, type in the code, and that will prove that that's your location.
AJ.
Don't abuse it. Don't abuse it, please.
Well, I was going to say, me and Derek have carpet cleaning and then just building a website now for our stone cleaning side. We want to separate the two. We've got the carpet cleaning side registered to our home address, and we've just sent off for our stone cleaners website to be registered at the same address. That's not going to affect us.
No, is it two limited companies or same limited company? See, Google will take
one limited.
All right, okay, sole trader. Okay.
One's under Derek's name and one's
You
under
see,
my name.
you can do all that, yeah, but Google will use various pieces of information to work out how legitimate companies is and when to list them and for what keywords to list them.
We tried to keep everything separate, so
Yeah.
one's in my name, one's in
Yeah.
Derek's name, everything's like that. The phone numbers are going to be, you've got all the phone numbers for one and then phone numbers for the other, so we are trying to keep it as separate as possible.
You see,
It's just the address that's going to be the same,
Yeah.
the website's not the same.
What you've got to remember is Let's go back onto your question about having these multiple websites. Just because you got multiple websites, multiple locations, it doesn't mean to say you're being unethical. There could be a legitimate business reason of why you're doing this, like in your case. So it is a legitimate business. It is to the same address. You don't need to worry about anything. The only time you need to worry is if you're trying to fool Google about anything.
I take issue with that because I think it's trying to stamp out, like you were saying, people having different domain names for local businesses like Brighton and Hove and whatever. I've only got Birmingham carpet cleaning linked to Google Plus.
Yeah.
But I've Sutton Coldfield, Lichfield and everything else. Because it's in the name, I'm relying on Google to
No.
put it up and it's still on page 1 of Lichfield.
Yeah.
Because it's a very small town. So
Yeah.
I'm very reluctant to start saying, for whatever reason, my stone cleaning business comes into exactly the same. It's stone cleaning business, is totally different to carpet cleaning business, and I don't want it on the same page, because I don't want it to be, Google tries to say, what's the value of this website, and build it all around one website. But when somebody, and you guys get around it by saying you have what's known as different landing pages, but it's not really right that, because the stone cleaning business and tile cleaning service is totally different to Birmingham leather repairs,
Yeah.
which is for furniture and the other one. So you have that, but I'm very reluctant to tell Google that those 3 businesses that I've got are totally separate are linked to one address, because I think I'm just going to get penalised the lot.
Yeah. I wish I had a black and white answer for you, but you see, your reason for what you're doing could be totally above board, yeah. But if you're using practices like other practices, because Google's not simply going to look at the fact that you've got multiple websites pointing to one website. It will take hundreds of other things into account to really assess, are these people trying to be dodgy or not. And if Google thinks you're trying to be dodgy, the first thing it'll do is it'll go to your webmaster tool and it'll tell you suspicious activity, and there'll be a title there called suspicious activity, manual effort required, or manual action required. And what Google is then saying to you in Google Webmaster Tools is, I've noticed something, not quite happy with it, and I want you to explain it to me. Yeah? So before I penalise you, and if you don't respond to me, I will penalise you. That's then your chance of saying to Google that, look, okay, these are my businesses, yeah, sole trader, blah blah blah, it was a limited company, and so this is the reason for it. Google will then assess that individually. It'll assess that manually as opposed to automatically, because most of its assessing is done automatically. But if Google says manual action, a human being will sit there and it'll look at everything, and then it'll.
Speak to Google.
Sorry?
Can you speak to somebody?
No. Doesn't matter who says, because
no. I'm not trying to be awful. You can give advice when you're not actually sure. The patient may die in the process, but I think you've got cancer. Is where it's coming from. It's just too risky for many people. That's why we're all.
It is risky.
Unfathomed on SEO.
No, you can speak to Google AdWords. Yeah, you can speak. Sorry, you can't speak to Google for SEO, right? So Google's not going to give you SEO advice, right? Yeah. For Google Maps, Google AdWords, you can. You won't be able to go to Google and say, I want SEO advice, or I'm thinking about doing this, or in my organic rankings, I want to do this, whatever. Google says, sorry, just read our forums, our guidelines, and everything else. And normally what happens by joining, what you should be doing is joining things like the Google official blog. So if you Google the word Google official blog, yeah, keep blogspot, keep an eye on that, right? Because it'll tell you what it's doing, why it's doing it. It's got so many videos on there, right? Doesn't matter what your webmaster tells you, doesn't matter what the SEO expert tells you, or the paid search specialist or the PPC, just go straight. Read the Google guidelines and keep an eye on these blog spots. You won't ever go wrong, because they'll tell you as it is.
What do you pay for an address? You can pay for an address. Most people do that under a legitimate address.
Google, I don't think it'll see that. See, it depends if the address is a PO box, because PO box is the one accept
Yeah,
anyway.
you can get ones that
That's
aren't
right, yeah.
PO box ones,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not going to be registered
Yeah.
as a PO
You
box
see,
one.
it's not necessarily going to penalise you. The reason it's not necessarily going to penalise you is because it could be a legitimate reason. Yeah. So you might, you see the difference between, it might ignore you, right? In other words, say, okay, well, there's something going on, but I can't really be bothered with it because I don't know where it could be a legitimate reason, or it could penalise you. If you can see this is body, it will penalise you. If it's not
Basically, you've
sure,
got to have the word master source on there, so it'll
That's
highlight
right.
anything and you
No,
can
you link it to you. To link it, you can get around Google very easily, and that is you put your nan's house down.
that's right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when Google then picks it up,
Yeah.
it sends that sheet,
To your nan.
that postcard
Yeah.
to that house.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what you're meant to do is pick that postcard up, you get it from your nan, you take hold of it,
Yeah.
you enter the thing,
Yeah.
and then you're legit.
Yeah.
That's how you get
Yeah,
round it.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just not
Yeah.
prepared to do that because
People-
I don't have a nan that's
Yeah.
alive.
People are doing that.
Nans that live in Birmingham, or if you've got any relatives,
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to talk to you after.
People are doing that. The only thing you've got to remember is you don't want your nan's house to be on Google Maps. You don't want someone knocking on your nan's door saying, you know what I mean? Like,
Google doesn't have anybody. If I can't speak to Google, you're giving them credit for something else. That's how you cheat around the system, and there's thousands of people cheating it every day.
you know, there's something called black hat SEO and white hat SEO, right? Black hat SEO is whereby you're trying to reverse engineer. So you learn that Google's trying to do something, you're trying to get around it. It's basically getting around stuff. You're trying to trick Google. Yeah. I always say just don't ever engage in any form of, because if they release an algorithm tomorrow, and the only algorithms that they're releasing are algorithms to catch people out, whereby they've used tricks to get around the system, and you don't know how or why. I don't know the answer, but you don't know when they're going to release an algorithm whereby they might even be able to use some process of association. So all I'm saying is that I don't know. Yes, it works, and millions out there use that technique. All I'm saying is that it's slightly grey. It's not purely like white hat SEO, because you're getting around the system, and if you want to be very strict about your SEO, then you wouldn't use it because you don't know what sort of algorithm is going to be released later on.
Okay then, I was going to say to you that I tried doing all that, you know, like set different numbers, different Google accounts, different everything, and like they still get you, like they'll even ring you, like and say, if you've got another number, they'll ring you and ask, and it's when you're saying you're a hardcore cleaner or wherever you get a virtual officer, they'll ring you and say, oh, is this public carpet cleaning? And if you say yes, the thing will go off, like, the way you say, oh, it's Google and stuff like that, your history for that virtual officer will go off.
I'm not surprised.
It'd be like this, you have to have a separate mobile with a separate number completely.
That's what I'm saying. That, you know, eventually you will get caught out. Yeah, Google's clever. It's way too clever now.
I know a guy in Scotland who did that. He had 4 different addresses, and everything was perfect. The trouble was, they caught him because all of his updates were kind of the same last week.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I mean. You know, Google will catch on to you. It's a multi-billion. By the time I've done this seminar, they would have earned several £billion by now or whatever. So they've got the best of the best employed.
So we've got a better chance of explaining to Google if they put a warning on Google Maps tools, because we've got, say, the same address for 2 different businesses, and if they question it, we can say it's 2 different businesses, and you've got more chance of getting away with it, not getting away with it, but, you know, it's going to be more legitimate than,
That's right, yeah.
than trying to
There's
send
like
it to
office blocks
different.
with 100 different companies.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, there's office blocks.
Of course, yeah. Which is why I'm saying sometimes there is a genuine reason why certain things happen. So just because you're doing it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be penalised, as long as you're doing it all for a genuine reason. And how Google's going to catch you out, what formulas they're going to use, what techniques they're going to use, I don't know. But if you're worried about it, it means that you're doing something that warrants you to be worried about it. If you're legitimate, then
It makes you worry about doing things legitimately because you don't know the areas of what they're trying to achieve because they're always trying to do different
That's right,
things.
yeah.
So even
Well,
when you're trying to do things
with all
by
these
the book,
cameras
you
going
still
around,
worry.
like you see Google Street View, they've got cameras going everywhere, right? In the States they're all in now, right? You know, just film anyone and everyone, right? But you don't know what other information they're picking up. They map out your number plates. You don't know what sort of intelligence they are picking up about you and what they're doing with that information. Yeah. What about Facebook? You know, Facebook has got more demographical data than any other platform in the world. It's got more demographical data than Google. Because when you sign to Facebook, you're telling them your age, your gender, this, that. You're constantly interacting with it.
They know everything.
It's just a matter of time before Facebook releases a search engine, right? A proper search engine, and you know, Google's going to be history. Because another thing, when you talk about SEO, is that Google's now going on to localized and personalized search results. And what they're trying to do now is that, and it's all taking off now, that they're trying to do it so that if you search for something and you search for something, the likelihood you're going to get two different results. Because your results are going to be personalized to you, and your results are going to be personalized to yourself. They're trying. It's all heading in that direction, depending on whether you're logged into Google or whether you're not logged into Google. If you're not logged into Google, it'll use things like your location, your device, and various other information. If you are logged into Google, it'll use the information that you usually signed up. So,
You know much about the home services thing?
sorry?
You know much about the home services thing that's coming out?
One other thing you can do to influence your off-page factors is research some blogs that might already be out there. You know what, we're talking about writing your own blogs, yeah? But why not try to research somebody who already just writes blogs in your industry or for your industry?
NCCA.
Yeah. And then what you can do is... And what you can do is get in touch with them, get in touch with the author and ask them that I want to put a post on your blog. Can I do that? And if you say yes, right, then in return can I put a link back to my website again? Because if you write a good post on his website and you know he's getting loads and loads of traffic on his website, you know that as soon as you put that blog out there, thousands of people are going to read it, so your blog also can become really popular. And people are sharing your blog, you're going to have natural links to your blog again. So that's another way of getting off-site blogs, so that you're not necessarily writing on your own website, you're writing them on third-party websites. Yeah. But the hard work is getting in touch with them, waiting for the email, negotiating. Some might even charge you. They might even say, we'll charge you £20 and you just got a blog on our site or whatever. Yeah. Press releases. If you've got a newsworthy piece of information, what you can do, you can write it, instead of going to blogs, you can go to places like PR Web, PR Newswire, and publish it on there. And what these portals do is that journalists are freelancers primarily, and they're hungry for news. And what they will do, they will go onto these portals, and they'll always be looking for news that they can pick up. If they see that you've written something that is of interest to them, they will use it. If they use it, again, you get mass exposure, loads and loads of quality, natural, organic links pointing back to your website again. Videos. Can't emphasize how important this is becoming now. YouTube is obviously owned by Google. Yeah. Get some videos produced, or produce your own videos, or video testimonials. Upload them to YouTube, put them onto your website. When you upload them onto YouTube, use tags to say what the video is all about. Yeah, because those videos will then become searchable. And if they become searchable, what will also happen then, if Google deems that you've got a video which is of very high quality, what it'll do is that it'll put the video within its search engine results page. I don't know if you've seen that, but see, like this slide here. I can't remember. I think I typed in how to clean carpets or something. Yeah, they're generally advice videos. So this person here uploaded a video to YouTube. The video became really popular for its topic, So when people go onto Google and type in various keywords, I think I typed in how to clean carpets, Google deemed that video to be relevant to the search results. So rather than just displaying PPC, My Places, organic and everything else, it's actually embedded the video there. And what you do with video is you put your own branding in it, in your website. Yeah? Forums. Forums are where people discuss various topics. So if you can find a forum that gets a lot of traffic on it, is relevant to your website, join it and become an expert in that forum. By becoming an expert in that forum, you start getting known by the forum, so that this person is known for carpet cleaning. So people normally always ask what advice, like, I've spilt something on my carpet, what do I do? You know, we've got allergy or whatever, what sort of flooring should we have? And you're constantly responding to these people. Now, what's in it for you? You know? And what is in it for you is A, brand awareness, yeah, and B, if you participate in the forum for long enough, most reputable forums will then allow you to add a signature and a link back to your website again. If you go into a forum, because the forum is popular, and on my first day I put a link to my website, you will instantly get banned. So don't do it. Yeah, don't go to a forum because you know it gets a million visits a day, and start saying, or even trying to trick the forum. Like, if somebody asks a question like, is there somebody in Dudley who cleans carpets? And you sign up and you go, oh yeah, go to dudleycarpetcleaning.com. They will know that what tactic you played, and you will be penalised. And a lot of the good forums would not allow you to appear either. So go by their guidelines, do everything above board and ethically, yeah, and you've got nothing to worry about. You become a good enough expert, people start finding your branding yourself. So what you see is that when you look at Google Analytics, more and more people have started coming to your website by typing in the name of your company, which is where Google's heading. It loves branding, it loves brand awareness. Yeah? So ethical posting, become an expert in that industry. I've got one expert in Birmingham who does Mercedes garage, Mercedes repairs. I built his website probably like 15 years ago, and he didn't want to touch SEO, and he's never touched SEO. But one passion he had was just talking to people. The traffic on his website is now phenomenal. He gets so much traffic on his website only because he participated in this forum thing, which he didn't even know himself is going to benefit my website in the long term. So now people are typing in, his garage is called Andy Gale. People are just typing Andy Gale and he's getting tons of business traffic on his website simply by becoming an expert within a forum. And all of you have got expert knowledge in your own sort of area. Do it, use it. Brand awareness, I've just covered on it. Yeah. Google loves brand awareness, so make sure that wherever possible you do use your brand. Again, don't abuse it. Read the forum guidelines. Don't try to do any hard sales, any promotion of yourself until you're allowed to. If you want to put your branding in it, just contact the forum owner and say, can I put a link to my website again? And they'll tell you when you come back, or to see their guidelines. So I've covered on-page optimization. I've covered off-page optimization very briefly. Yeah. Just a few points about being penalized by Google. You want to avoid being penalized by Google. Now, Google recently released two main algorithms called Panda and Penguin. Panda focused on websites that are rubbish, or Google deems them to be of low quality. In other words, that they're not being looked after, the downside is very high, the quality of the content is very low, yeah, and look at those websites. Those are the websites that are being, they're not necessarily being penalized, but they're not being promoted either. So they're as good as being penalized because they're on page like 50 or 100. So you've got to look after your website. Your Penguin, look for techniques that people have used, like black hat techniques, to try to fool Google. You do that, the last person, Google will have the last laugh, not you. And what you don't want to be doing is being in a box whereby you built up this business, you built up this website, you spent 10 years promoting it, and all of a sudden Google comes in and penalises it, and you're gone.
What's the black
Yeah.
hat technique?
Black hat technique, so there's white hat and black hat. White hat is
Oh,
you do,
oh, you said it.
yeah, white hat is you doing everything by the book, you're reading Google Guide, you're doing everything properly. Black hat is you using dodgy techniques, you're trying to fool Google, yeah? What you don't want to be doing is build up, you spend all this money, time, years, building up this brand, building up the website, overnight, Google comes and says, right, that's what you've done, you're being penalised for it. And it won't necessarily give you a chance. Just because I've said that Google, you've got Google Webmaster Tools, don't just think that I've done it, I can go to Google and say sorry and that's the end of it. Because one thing, I don't go too technical about it, one thing Google's got is something called a sandbox, yeah? And Google can say, alright, tell you what, you're doing something on your website, I don't know what it is, I haven't got the time to look at it too much, yeah? So, but I don't feel very comfortable about it either, yeah? So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to penalise you, but I'm going to sandbox your website. What sandboxes mean is it's going to freeze the location of your website, yeah? So if it's at page 2, 3, whatever, it's going to keep it there. For how long? It could be 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, whatever. Until it feels comfortable that you're doing something properly with it again. You will be notified by Google, if Google deems your website to be sandboxed. But the problem is, it won't tell you straight away. It could take time to actually tell you. Whilst it's being sandboxed, there's no appeal process, there's nothing. There's no one you can go to and say, please sandbox my website. Only way to avoid sandboxing, be ethical. Don't do anything dodgy.
When you're saying be ethical, one of the problems, and that's for some people who didn't know about all the sorts of things you put in today, and they really haven't enough the skill to actually look at them, is that you go to a website designer and he says, what do you want? Oh, I want to be on the front page. He doesn't say to you, well, I'll do that ethically. He does that quite often unethically.
Most websites won't even tell you what they're doing.
And what can you as an individual do? Can you
most
sue them for it?
No.
Why?
Not necessarily.
Because it's unethical?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't really know the law, yeah, so I can't really comment on that too much.
But it's so wrong, isn't it?
But
somebody's actually
yeah.
trashing your business, they've got the ability to trash your business without you knowing.
Yeah, but if they justify it, that in their way, or in their opinion, what they did was legitimate, and they didn't have any intent to do anything illegitimate, you could, the time and money you will spend in lawsuits. You know, law is, I think lawyers have. I hate lawyers, right? Yeah. I once bought a domain called egainonline.com, right? And within about a month, somebody from Canada, from Canada, wrote to me and saying, stop using that domain name because you're breaching our trademark. Their trademark was called eGain, not eGain Online, it's called eGain. So I thought, I'm going to take it to a lawyer. Took it to a lawyer, it cost me about £1,500, I was getting nowhere with it. And because he was sending out stupid letters, because every time he sent a letter, they want to charge me for it. So I was saying, oh, why don't you send this letter out right at the beginning, then whatever, yeah? And so I thought, sod you guys, right? I'm going to go to the top boys now, I'm going to go to Eversheds. Went to Eversheds, and they said we'll charge you £700 to do an analysis of what you're doing, just to look at it. I said, yeah, fine, do it. Yeah, because I'm so emotionally involved in this domain, I want it. Yeah? And within literally an hour, they called me back and said, AJ, here's the situation. Yes, you're right. They cannot monopolize over that domain name. So they're wrong to do that. So you can sue them to do that. Yeah? However, do you know it's a multi-million pound company? So, and it's going to cost, they said they would happily put £60,000 into their court case, tell one of their secretaries or yeah, deal with it, it won't even touch them. Are you willing to do the same? Oh shit. Okay. No, no. So what I did is I wrote to the company, I said, look, I don't want to hit it, just have the domain. I couldn't believe it, right? Within a few weeks, they sent me a check. I didn't ask for it, they sent me a check of $1,000 saying thank you, just as a goodwill gesture, here's a check for you. I thought, fair, yeah. Bingo, I only paid like 10 quid for the domain. But, yeah, yeah, but $1,000.
$1,000
But that's what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? Do you consider that ethical?
What I did then, I was like, I was in this, in the age I was going through, where I thought I was always right, yeah. But then I learnt that lawyers aren't everything. And then recently somebody took me to an employment tribunal, and again, I totally avoided using lawyer, and I won the case as well, right? But lawyers, everywhere, anyway, I don't go into that. But, okay, avoid these things, yeah? Avoid dictating to people. Just because I said that one of the main factors of ranking your website is links, avoid dictating to people how to link to your website. Let them do it themselves, how they want to do it, if they want to do it. So because one thing that people used to do is, if I'm a carpet cleaner, I used to go out and tell people, I'm going to write a blog, I want you to put a link to my website, but the link, I don't want to say www, I want to say carpet cleaners. Because Google used to value that. Now they don't. Now they actually penalise you for that. Because they say that that's unethical link building. You're manipulating what you're learning. Don't manipulate me. Let people link to you in a very natural way. If you go to Google and type in, I'm not sure if it's still valid, yeah, but it was up until about a few months ago. If you type in click here, yeah, the #1 website is, or was, Adobe. Because Adobe were using click here to say click here to download their Adobe Reader. But now that's not really the case. If people link to you, if I say to you that link to my website, that 9 times out of 10 you'll link to it using my website domain name, not my branding, not my main keyword, and you'll choose what page you want to link to. Let everybody do that. The moment you start telling people how to link to your website, which page, and using which anchor text, which title tag, then you're manipulating Google again. Don't do it anymore, whether you like it or not. Yeah. Avoid using low quality content. Content for the sake of content. Don't just write content just because you've learned that Google, you've got to put 400 words per page. Just brush out and 400 words, or go to India and tell someone to write you an article for $5 and put it on your website. Don't do that sort of stuff. High quality content. That's what Google wants. High quality, relevant content, and the reason it wants that is it wants engagement, and it wants people to not have high bounce rates on your website. And look at all your website, look at all your content, never copy content, original content every single time, and content that's going to give people value. Value is the main thing, yeah? Avoid satellite pages and websites if you can, especially if you're doing it for unethical reasons. So don't just go and build loads and loads of websites or loads of pages just for Google. Only build them if you've got a legitimate business reason to do that in the first place. Yeah. There's old techniques by hidden links and stuff. Don't do them. Don't do anything that just sounds dodgy. If someone says I can do this little trick or whatever, run them off from them. Don't do it. Yeah.
I've heard that Google doesn't like landing pages where you can only go on that page and you can't go anywhere else.
That's right. Yeah, you're right as well. And they will stop you doing that as well because you're building the page purely for Google, unless, the new websites, like the website I've got that competition, is called the Parallax website. And that website technically has only got one page. It's got different sections, so you can scroll down. If you click on the link, it will scroll down to that section. Yeah, but it's only technically got one page. So how Google determines whether it's a landing page or what is a different matter. But don't just create pages or sites just for the sake of Google. Unless they are ethical landing pages, so you can landing pages, have links on to other pages, make it into a legitimate site. But you can't always do that because it could be a sign-up page for something.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
I just want something.
Yeah. So what people will then take into account is: are people just going onto the page, or are they going on it and interacting with that page? And what's the bounce rate of that page? Yeah. So they take other things into account. If people are going onto that page and engaging with that page, staying on there a while, feeling informed, then Google knows it's not a dodgy page, it's a legitimate page. Sorry, am I going over?
You've gone over a bit, mate. How long?
Just about enough.
About 10 more minutes.
7 minutes?
Yep.
Fantastic. I'm sorry, again.
That's okay. Outsourcing marketing or your agency, to your agency. When going to an agency, try to ask them questions such as, where is the work all being done? Is it actually in the UK or is it actually overseas? Yeah. I'm biased, I want it all done in the UK. And the reason I want it done in the UK is because of the UK grammar, the UK knowledge, everything else about UK. If I talk to someone, I want them to have UK sort of advice, yeah. Can they only, do they only specialise in one thing, or can they do multiple things? So, if I want to do my SEO, can they do, well, you see, when I take on campaigns, I look at a strategic approach. So let's do a bit of this, let's do a bit of this, let's do a bit of this, yeah. Let's do some short-term things, some long-term things. Now, are you happy to say, I want to give my SEO work to one company, and my web development work to one company, my social media to another company, and my PPC to another company? Because then if you're running between 4 companies, you know what's going to happen. One company's going to bring that one, the other one can bring that one, and you'll be running all over the sort of shop. Yeah, so it's just something to consider. You might think, I'm okay with that. I'm okay for one company to do that, one company to do that. But it's just something that you've got to think about, because you don't want them to be blaming each other and running around it every single time, yeah?
That's also hard though, to find one person that will cover all areas and is an expert in all areas.
Yeah. But the thing to do is just group it up. That what are your main 2 activities that you want to do? And do they do these things? Yeah. If it is web development, yeah, I might have to go to another company. You see what I mean? It's up to you. But as long as you've addressed it, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, as long as you know, you're aware of it.
No, you just tend to find one person who'll go, yeah, I can do that for you, and go, oh, I need to do this, oh, I can do that for you. Yeah. But they don't really know how to do that for you. They just want to take the money off you, and then you end up in trouble because they've just said, oh, I can do that, and I can do that, oh, and I can do that for you as well.
That's right.
And you believe them because they're an expert in one area, and you believe they're an expert in all areas. So it's really hard to sort of...
It is a challenge. But what can you do? Yeah. Ask them who will make the technical changes. So if someone's going to do your SEO, they're going to say, we want these changes to be made to your website. Is that an avenue hidden cost? Or are they going to do it? So if they are going to do it, or you're going to do it, web developers can do it. Because let's say they charge you X amount per month, and also they tell you to make these changes. You might have a huge bill on your hand because they've asked you to do some changes, because you're going to go to your website design company and get these changes done. So just ask the question, yeah?
My website is on the first page of Google with a natural listing. So I'm paying first round £80 a month to get there. Am I being
Is that the free SEO?
£80 a month.
80 quid a month?
Yeah.
First find?
Yeah.
Just type in reviews, first find.
How are you looking at it? Are you constantly going onto your computer?
Well, the way I'm looking at it is they got me there, and I'm continuing to pay £80 a month to stay there. But the question that now is, should I stop that?
It sounds like a con. It definitely sounds like a con.
I used to type it always into my computer and I was always first on the page. But when I went to my other half's computer...
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's a localised searching. But that's what I'm saying, that's what today's seminar is about, making it aware of the issue. So if you understand what they're doing, you can assess whether they need, which is why you need this sort of, because it could be they're using dodgy techniques. Yeah, there's a company out there called Free SEO, and they'll do your SEO for free, and they will get you results. I don't know how they do it, right? And they'll say to you, oh, just give us the FTP, we'll put this piece of code in your website. That code will take over your website. They've got full control of your website. So run a mile.
So in your opinion, what should I do?
Sorry?
In your opinion, what should I do?
Either get it audited independently to see what's going on, or ask them what they're doing, and sign up to Google Webmaster Tool. See if there is any objectivity going on. Yeah, leave it running for about a month. Get it independently audited, because whoever independently audits it will tell you we've got dodgy links and stuff. Yeah. If they ask them what sort of reports they're going to give to you, not just traffic. Yeah, are they going to give you like how many sales were made, what value of the sales were, what the high exit pages were? Yeah, that type of information within your reports. Contractual period. I'm saying that try to avoid 12 months contracts, because in this age it doesn't really happen. Yeah. Some people try their luck to try to tie you in. A legitimate contract is 3 months and then 1 month rolling, because you're giving them a little bit of a chance to do something, and then 1 month rolling or even 6 months. But get that initial trial period in first. Don't just commit to 12 months straight away. If they say to you, we'll get your website listed in Google within 3 months, run a mile. Right? There's nobody in the world can give you that sort of promise. It happens all the time. That, yep, within 3 months you'll be there, you'll be there, or whatever. If they are using that sort of stuff, it's clearly dodgy. So just run a mile.
I think there's some of the franchise guys do really well because they've got somebody working on that site all the time. So if you are a big carpet cleaning franchise or a leather franchise or something like that, they seem to work much harder.
They might do. But what you've got to remember is that they don't own Google and they don't work for Google, right? So you can't, it's like I can't give a promise on your behalf. So I can't say to yourself that if you go to that company over there, they will be able to do this for you. And they'll be able to do that, they'll be able to book you within 2 days. Because that company will say to me, AJ, who the hell are you to give us a promise on my behalf? So likewise, any guarantees, just run a mile. The only guarantee they should be giving you is what work they're doing on a monthly basis. That's a good guarantee. So there are no secrets to SEO, as long as they're being upfront that this is the work that we're doing. Ask them about their hidden costs, right? Like give example of web development and so on. And then it's your gut feeling. Do you feel right talking to this person? Do you think he's the right person for you? If not, again, run a mile.
Well, this is why I don't like SEO, because you can't measure it.
But what you can measure is the activity that goes on behind your website. What are people doing about your website? What are people doing to optimize your website? The blogs that they're writing,